Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to tackle something that I think we can all relate to: smart budgeting and saving.
hmm
And get this, we're going to be using excerpts from a guide called Budgeting and Saving: Strategies for Financial Freedom.
Okay.
I'm excited to jump into this because let's be real, who hasn't wished for a little bit more control over their money?
You hit the nail on the head. I think most people want to feel more financially secure, but knowing where to start can be daunting.
Right.
And that's why this guide's emphasis on practical strategies really resonates with me.
I get the whole like budgeting is important thing,
Yeah.
but it always felt a little bit restrictive to me.
Mm.
This guide, though, frames it as a tool for empowerment, not punishment.
Yeah,
It actually defines a budget as a plan for your income and expenses, which takes the pressure off.
it does. What's fascinating is how a simple shift in perspective can make all the difference.
Right.
Instead of viewing a budget as a straitjacket, think of it as a roadmap to your financial goals. And that's what this guide nails. It's about aligning your spending with your values, not about deprivation.
Okay, but roadmaps can be confusing.
Yeah.
There are so many different budgeting methods out there.
Right.
This guide mentions the 50-30-20 rule, which sounds simple enough.
Mm.
50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt repayment.
Hmm.
But does that really work for everyone?
That's a great question. And to be honest, the 50-30-20 rule is a good starting point, especially if you're new to budgeting.
Mm.
But it's not one size fits all. Some people might need to adjust those percentages based on their income, expenses, or financial goals.
So if someone is struggling with like high housing costs in a big city, maybe their needs category needs to be higher than 50%.
Exactly. The key is to find a system that works for you. The guide also touches on alternative budgeting frameworks,
Okay.
like zero-based budgeting,
Huh.
where you allocate every dollar of your income to a specific category,
Yeah.
ensuring that your income minus your expenses equals zero.
That sounds intense.
It is.
But also kind of empowering, like you're telling your money exactly where to go.
Precisely. It's about taking control.
Yeah.
And speaking of control, one of the best ways to feel more financially secure is to build a solid saving habit.
Right.
This guide emphasizes being proactive about saving, not just saving whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month.
Okay. I'll admit that's where I struggle.
Yeah.
Saving always feels like an afterthought. But this pay yourself first concept that the guide mentions sounds intriguing. Is it really as simple as it sounds?
It is surprisingly simple and surprisingly effective. The idea is to automate a transfer of a set amount to your savings account as soon as you get paid.
Mhm.
It's like prioritizing your future self.
Oh, I love that. It takes the decision fatigue out of saving. But wouldn't that be tough if you're living paycheck to paycheck?
That's a valid concern. And in those cases, it might mean starting small, even if it's just $10 or $20 per paycheck.
Yeah.
The point is to establish the habit and gradually increase the amount as your income grows.
So it's about consistency and making saving a non-negotiable part of your financial routine. But what about those unexpected expenses that always seem to pop up? That's where an emergency fund comes in, right?
Absolutely. This guide stresses the importance of having a financial cushion for those unexpected events like a medical bill or a car repair.
Mm-hmm.
That can throw your budget off track. It recommends aiming for 3-6 months worth of living expenses,
Wow.
which might sound daunting.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of change. But I guess knowing you're prepared for those curveballs would be worth it.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for building an emergency fund without feeling completely deprived?
I'm glad you brought that up because it's about finding a balance.
Yeah.
This guide suggests exploring ways to free up funds without drastically altering your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Think about it. Do you really need all those subscription services you're signed up for? Could you try cooking at home more often?
Yeah.
Or bringing your lunch to work?
Ooh, you're speaking my language. I actually recently started tracking my spending, and I was shocked by how much I was spending on takeout coffee and those buy one, get one free deals
Yeah.
that weren't actually saving me any money.
Right. Those small, seemingly insignificant expenses can really add up over time.
Mm.
And this perfectly segues into another tactic this guy highlights,
Mm.
the 24-hour rule.
Okay.
Have you heard of this one?
It rings a bell. Something about fighting impulse buys. Refresh my memory on how it works.
It's incredibly simple, yet surprisingly effective. Before making any non-essential purchase, you wait 24 hours.
Okay.
That's it.
So if I'm online and I suddenly have to have those new noise-canceling headphones?
Hit pause. That's the 24-hour rule kicking in. Close the tab, walk away, let the excitement settle.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how often that urge to buy just disappears.
Okay, I'm starting to see how powerful this simple rule can be. It's like giving your rational brain a chance to catch up with your impulsive desires.
Yeah.
Exactly. The guide digs into the psychology behind impulse purchases, explaining that they're often driven by emotions rather than logic. Delaying gratification allows you to make more conscious decisions that align with your budget and goals.
Thinking back, there have been so many times I've regretted an impulse buy. This 24-hour rule could be a game changer for me.
Yeah.
But let's talk long-term growth.
Yeah.
Saving is crucial, but this guide also highlights the potential of investing, right?
Right. Saving helps you build a solid foundation, but investing is like adding rocket fuel to your financial journey.
Okay.
It's about putting your money to work, for you potentially earning higher returns than a traditional savings account.
Okay, higher returns sound amazing, but honestly, the world of investing still feels a little bit intimidating. It's like a whole different language.
I get it. There's a lot to learn, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming.
Right.
This guide reminds us that knowledge is power. You wouldn't jump into a swimming pool without knowing how to swim, and you shouldn't jump into the world of investing without understanding the basics. So where do we even begin? This guide mentions things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds. It's a lot to take in.
That's why it's so important to start with your financial goals. What are you saving for? Retirement? A down payment on a house?
Yeah.
Your goals will shape your investment strategy.
It's like having a destination in mind before we start the journey.
Exactly. Once you know where you're headed, you can choose the right investment vehicle to get you there. And remember, you don't have to go it alone. This guide emphasizes the value of research and seeking guidance from a financial advisor.
So a financial advisor is like a guide helping you navigate the investment landscape and avoid those financial potholes.
Exactly.
But what about the risks? Every time I hear about investing, there's always talk about the potential for loss.
You're right. Investing does come with risk. It's not a guaranteed path to riches. But this guide wisely points out that the greater the potential return, the greater the risk. And it's about finding a balance that you're comfortable with.
So if my risk tolerance is low, are there still investment options for me?
Absolutely. There are investment strategies that prioritize capital preservation, meaning they aim to protect your initial investment while still providing some potential for growth.
That's reassuring. It's like choosing a hiking trail based on your fitness level. You don't have to start with the most challenging climb. You can work your way up.
I love that analogy. And speaking of working our way up, this guide reminds us that investing is a long-term game. It's about building wealth steadily over time, not getting rich quick.
So we're planting seeds today that will hopefully grow into a strong financial tree in the future.
Exactly.
But what about enjoying the present? This guide also talks about the why behind taking control of our finances, and one of the key benefits is reducing financial stress.
Absolutely. When you're constantly worried about money, it can impact every aspect of your life. But when you have a plan, a budget, and you're working towards your goals, it can significantly reduce that stress and free up mental energy to focus on the things that matter most.
I've definitely been there, living paycheck to paycheck with that constant feeling of what if something unexpected happens? It's exhausting.
That's why taking control is so empowering. It's not about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices that align with your values and priorities. Maybe instead of going on a lavish vacation every year, you opt for a smaller trip or a staycation and use the savings to invest in your future.
Or maybe you bring your lunch to work a few days a week instead of eating out every day.
Exactly.
Small changes can make a big difference.
Exactly. And the beauty is you don't have to do it all at once. This guide encourages taking small, consistent steps. Every little bit counts.
This has been so eye-opening. I'm starting to feel a lot more confident about taking control of my finances and working towards my goals. What are your final thoughts? Any words of wisdom for our listeners?
My final thought is this. Financial freedom is not a destination, it's a journey. It's about making conscious choices, learning and growing along the way, and finding joy in the process.
I love that. It's not about depriving ourselves. It's about empowering ourselves to create the financial future we want. And that's a journey I'm excited to be on. And this guide brought up something that I hadn't considered before. Investing in yourself.
Oh, that's one of my favorite aspects of this whole conversation.
Okay.
We often think of investing in terms of stocks and bonds, but investing in your own knowledge, skills, and well-being can have a huge impact on your future.
It's like that saying, the best investment you can make is in yourself. But how does that translate to actual financial freedom?
Think about it this way. Taking a course to learn a new skill could lead to a promotion or a new career path
Right.
with higher earning potential. Prioritizing your health
Mm-hmm.
through a gym membership or a healthy meal prep could reduce future healthcare costs.
Right.
These are all investments in your future self.
Okay, I'm seeing the bigger picture now. It's not just about the money we put into our bank accounts.
Right.
It's about the time and energy we invest in ourselves, too.
Exactly. And sometimes the most valuable investments aren't financial at all.
Right.
Nurturing relationships, contributing to your community, pursuing passions,
Mm-hmm.
those things enrich your life in ways that money can't buy.
This is really making me rethink my whole definition of financial freedom. It's not just about a number.
Yeah.
It's about having the resources and the flexibility to live a life that truly aligns with your values.
That's the heart of it, isn't it? It's about having the freedom to choose how you spend your time, your energy, and your money. And that sense of empowerment can have a ripple effect on every aspect of your life.
This deep dive has been so much more than I expected. We've uncovered practical strategies, we debunked myths, and honestly, it feels like a whole new world of possibilities has opened up.
That's the power of knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's what the deep dive is all about. Taking complex topics and breaking them down into actionable insights
Right.
that you can apply to your own life.
Before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for our listeners out there embarking on their own journey to financial freedom?
I'd say remember that it's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
There will be bumps along the road, unexpected detours, maybe even a few wrong turns.
Right.
But the key is to keep learning, keep growing, and never stop investing in yourself.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I think it's time for us to surface from this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of budgeting, saving, and the true meaning of financial freedom.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you.
And to our listener, remember, you have the power to shape your financial future. Start small, stay consistent, and never underestimate the incredible impact of investing in yourself. Until next time, happy diving.